She cooked his favorite meal every night. Until this happened. Every night, around 7:30, the smell of freshly cooked curry and warm rice filled a small apartment on the edge of the city. Inside, Meera, a woman in her mid-40s, stood by the stove, carefully tasting the dal, adding just a pinch of salt and adjusting the flame. She smiled softly and said to herself, "Just the way he liked it." Then she set the table for two, one plate near the window, one opposite it, and placed a steaming bowl of curry right in the center. She sat down and waited. But the other chair stayed empty. It had been empty for almost a year. Every evening, Meera repeated the same ritual, cooking his favorite meal, laying out two plates, and waiting for her husband, Paul, to come home. The neighbors had stopped asking about him months ago. Everyone knew the truth: Paul was gone. A year earlier, he had left home one morning for work and never returned. A fatal accident on the highway had taken him away. But Meera couldn't let go. Every night, she cooked like he would still walk through the door, tired but smiling, asking, "What's for dinner, Meera?" And every night, she whispered softly, "Your favorite, like always." Meera's son, Math, lives in another city now. He called once a week, told her to take care, to eat properly, to stop living in the past. She would nod, smile, and say, "I'm fine, beta." But once the call ended, she would walk into the kitchen, tie her apron, and start cooking again. It wasn't about eating anymore. It was about remembering. Cooking was the only way she still felt Paul's presence: the sizzle of onions, the smell of garlic, the hum of the pressure cooker. It was like he was still sitting in the chair, watching her with that quiet smile. One evening, while returning from the market, Meera saw a young man sitting on the staircase of her building. He looked about 20, thin, unkempt, wearing a faded shirt. He had a small food delivery bag beside him, but it was empty. His head was in his hands. "Are you all right, beta?" Meera asked softly. He looked up, startled. "Yes, ma'am. I lost my job today. The app company removed some drivers. I don't know what to do now." His voice trembled, and Meera felt something inside her ache. She said gently, "Come upstairs. Have dinner. You look hungry." He hesitated, then nodded. That night, for the first time in months, someone else sat at Paul's place at the table. Meera served him food, the same meal she made every night: dal, rice, and potato curry. The young man took one bite, then another, and tears filled his eyes. "Ma'am, this tastes like my mother's food. I haven't eaten like this in months." Meera smiled, blinking back her own tears. She whispered, "It was his favorite too." The next evening, the boy came again, politely knocking at her door. "I brought some milk, ma'am. Thought you might need it." She invited him in, and again, cooked the same meal. This time, they talked. He told her his name, Aman. He was from a small town, came to the city chasing dreams, but the city was cruel. Meera listened quietly, like a mother does. She shared stories of Paul, how he used to burn toast every morning, how he loved cricket but never scored a single run. And for the first time in years, her laughter filled the apartment again. Days turned into weeks. Jerry Brito started helping Meera with groceries, fixing the leaking tap, carrying her bags. He even started calling her auntie. But one evening, Meera noticed something unusual. When she went to the market, people were whispering about a hit-and-run accident nearby. That night, Jerry Brito's didn't come for dinner. She waited, just like she used to wait for Paul. She kept checking the clock. 7:30, 8:30, 9. Finally, she stepped outside and asked the watchman, "Have you seen that boy who visits me sometimes?" The man nodded sadly. "Yes, madam. The one who rides a small scooter. He was hit by a car this evening. They took him to the city hospital." Meera felt her heart sink. The bag of groceries fell from her hand. For a moment, she couldn't breathe. At the hospital, she ran down the corridor, searching room numbers until she found him, unconscious, bandaged, pale. She sat beside him, holding his hand, whispering, "You're going to be fine, Beta, please wake up." She didn't move for hours. And somewhere around dawn, Jerry opened his eyes slowly. When he saw her, he tried to smile. "Auntie. I didn't want to make you wait." Tears streamed down Meera's face. She pressed his hand and said softly, "You sound just like him." Jerry blinked, confused. "Like who?" "Like my husband." He said the same thing once, right before he. Her voice broke. Jerry looked at her, realizing for the first time how much loneliness she had hidden behind that calm smile. He whispered, "I'm not going anywhere, Auntie. I promise." Weeks passed, and Jerry Brudos recovered. He got a new job at a local courier service, steady hours, honest work. But every evening, no matter how tired he was, he came to Meera's apartment at 7:30. And every evening, she cooked the same meal, dal, rice, and curry, and placed 2 plates on the table. This time, the second chair was no longer empty. Sometimes, while serving him, she would glance at Paul's photo on the wall and whisper in her heart. He came back, just in another form. One night, Meera fell sick, fever, cough, and weakness. Jerry Brudos took her to the doctor, bought her medicines, and stayed to take care of her. When she woke up the next morning, the aroma of food filled the house, her kitchen. She walked slowly to the dining table. There were 2 plates. And in the center, dal, rice, and curry. Jerry Brudos looked up, smiling shyly. "I cooked your favorite today." Meera's eyes filled with tears. She sat down quietly, her heart full of gratitude and peace. For the first time since Paul's death, she realized, she wasn't waiting anymore. Now, every evening, Meera and Jerry Brudos eat together. Sometimes they laugh, sometimes they sit in silence. But the emptiness is gone. Because love doesn't always leave forever. Sometimes it comes back. In another soul, another bond, another meal shared with kindness. And though she still cooks Paul's favorite meal every night, she no longer eats in memory of him. She eats in celebration of what he left behind. Love that never dies.